There's so much lore in the landscape. Argyll in Gaelic means coast or edge of the gale, so the nature of Argyll, the corrugated landscape, there's so much to discover. I'm an open water swim coach and wild swim guide. I share a little bit about the culture and the language and the lore of the land and how the language interacts with swimming and being in nature as well. I like to really connect to what that story is in that location. This is where my ancestors came from and I'm reconnecting to that through the Gaelic language, through my work as a swim coach and helping people to engage with the environment. I think that's really important. And all my passions are colliding, which is beautiful.
So if you look at a map of Badenoch and Strathspey, we're sort of sitting in the middle of the strath of Badenoch with sort of wooded hillsides either side with Glenfeshie and the Monalia and the Monaruag, the Cairngorms. The landscape here is absolutely full of stories. I run Strathspey Story Walks, which are guided walks that explore all of the layers that exist within a place. We sort of wander through the woods, we see what there is to see. There'll be different things in autumn to spring to winter to summer. So it's a very informal little wander really, where everybody sort of pitches in as well, bits of stories that they know, to give different perspectives and new perspectives on a place that people think they know quite well. Personally, I would see the myths as sort of the bigger stories and the folklore as the smaller stories. It's turned out that there are lots of snippets of truth in folklore and it shouldn't be dismissed. The stories are so interlinked with the land and the people who lived here, dreams and their wishes and their imaginations, and it totally changes your relationship with the landscape. It's a lot more, it's a much deeper connection, it's a much closer relationship.
For me, I like swimming in places that have got stories and they've got significance. The Gaelic is the goddess of winter and she's said to churn up the Corrivreckan.
And unwrapped her plaid and began washing it very vigorously in the ocean. And she was washing it so vigorously that the water was whirling and swirling around.
When she's washing her clothes in the Corrivreckan, she then lays them
to dry across the tops of the mountains. So whenever you see white on the tops of the mountains,
and that's the snow. And I think that's really evocative and it's a great story. For me, when I swam across the Corrivreckan earlier this year, I had that in my mind and it really brought it all alive. That's more special to me than just swimming from A to B, just because it's there.
It's absolutely full of Gaelic names, there might be a few Pictish names thrown in there as well, and they're often really descriptive to place. They might describe a mythological creature that dwelt in that place, or the history of a lady who lived in that place, or the place names are a really sort of good way in to unlocking this landscape. These feelings don't happen often as an adult. It's almost like going back to when you were a kid and you have these like absolute delight at hearing something, which is also why I run the walk, so I can physically tell the stories as they, as they have been told, or with my own little spin on them, of course. To me, stories of place belong to everybody in that place, whether they're visiting or whether they live there. Families have gone back to the same place the next day. Kids have told all of the stories again because they loved them so much. It's really wonderful to hear that because I know then that they are being passed on in some way.